Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we go further, with the complex storyline Arma 3 has, I have to introduce you guys to some of the characters you play as. I have to warn you, in this video will be some spoilers and I don't want to ruin your Arma 3 experience. So if you didn't play the campaigns, please do, and come back later and I will love to tell you everything you may have missed. Some of the characters we see in the prologue or the East Wind campaign we see later in other campaigns or are discussed in other campaigns. Let's start with our first character, Sgt Conway. Conway was the main protagonist of the prologue campaign. From the US Army 7th Infantry Division, Conway was one of the many peacekeepers of Task Force Aegis that were stationed on the island nation of the Republic of Altis and Stratus. He is subordinate to Staff Sgt Thomas Adams, and together they are responsible for training Altis Armed Forces recruits.
I'm Staff Sgt Adams, this is Sgt Conway. We'll be your cabin crew for today.
Cabin crew?
Since I'm fairly confident we all know why we're here, I'll skip the usual brief.
Advising their units in the field and mediating peace talks between the AAF and FIA. In contrast to the more stoic Adams, Conway bears a standoffish personality and will loudly voice his disapproval of anyone, often to chagrin of his superiors. He especially bears a dislike for both the AAF and in particular its leader, General Acanteros, and looks down on them as being uncivilized.
Who was that asshole?
Call sign Phalanx, Colonel Acanteros. You just bashed horns with the AAF's top brass.
That's their top brass? Now I know why they're so fucked up.
Conway also harbors a close friendship with Adams, though Adams constantly pokes fun at Conway by making him carry out various and often ridiculous looking training activities in front of the recruits. Nonetheless, the two remain good friends and work more along the lines of equal partners rather than subordinate and leader.
While we're on the subject, you're going to find it much harder to control your breathing on the battlefield. Sergeant...
Don't even say it.
Your adoring public awaits.
God damn it.
What is the sergeant doing, I hear you ask? Well, in all honesty, I have no idea. Although I think we can all agree it's quite a sight to behold.
Fuck you, Staff Sergeant.
However, his completely spontaneous and totally unplanned marathon conveniently brings us to our next lesson, fatigue.
A year later, we see Conway back on the island of Stratus, where after the attack, he is one of the few survivors of Task Force Aegis. He is soon appointed to become the leader of Alpha Squad and leads his new squad through several successful missions against the AAF, relieving Bravo Squad after they are pinned down in Gurna, as well as leading the assault against Air Station Mike 26. Unfortunately for Conway and the rest of Task Force Aegis, their guerrilla-style raids were useless in the end, even with their sustained victories against the AAF. A sudden seaside counterattack almost completely wipes out the survivors while they are attacking the port town of Agia Marina. Conway rallies what's left of the task force and together they retreat from the island on boats. However, not long after they just barely manage to escape to the sea, their boats are intercepted and strafed by AAF jets, which promptly open fire and capsize both vessels. Conway is caught in the blast, gets knocked overboard and ultimately drowns at sea. Staff Sgt Thomas Adams. Adams was a squad leader from the US Army 7th Infantry Division and was one of the many peacekeepers of NATO's Task Force Aegis that was stationed on the island nation of the Republic of Altis and Stratus. 15 years prior to the event of the East Wind, Adams served as the Allied Coalition Force liaison to the IDEP organization in Takistan. During this time, he worked with Nathan McDabb, who is the main character of the Remnants of War campaign. The two would eventually meet again on Altis as Adams was sent to provide help in the mountain village of Oreo Castro. Adams appears as a middle-aged male with short dark brown hair and also sports a lightly shaved moustache. His standard attire comprises of MTP camouflage fatigues, a Ranger green colored heavy plate carrier and a customized enhanced combat helmet. He is also usually seen wearing a set of tactical glasses. An outspoken detractor of Alcantara's regime, Adams is highly dismissive of both the AAF and the country itself, constantly criticizing their command structure, corruption and overall tactics.
Why not? Over?
We do not have a map.
GPS?
Negative.
Copy. Wait one. There's always something with these people. All right, change of plans. Christ. What the hell happened here?
We were on patrol. We were attacked.
Patrol, huh?
Yes,
And these people, they attacked you?
yes. Was unclear.
You ever heard of excessive force?
Sergeant.
Staff Sergeant, they're just civilians.
Did you sweep the buildings? And what's the deal with that man over there?
Yes, we did. They are clean.
You searched all of them, including the ones down there?
No, only these ones.
And that man, do you have medical support inbound?
No.
Are you kidding me?
Sergeant, search those buildings down there. The rest of you, set up a perimeter. And you, call for a goddamn medevac, now!
Unlike Conway, however, Adams doesn't voice his opinion out loud and tends to keep to himself, only expressing his feelings on the matter in front of his fellow squad members.
Just so you fucking know, I'm about to shoot something.
Hearts and minds, Sergeant. Hearts and minds.
After the massacre, on the 7th of May, Task Force Aegis redirected its effort elsewhere in quelling the growing unrest spreading all across the island. As part of this new offensive, Adams will be reassigned to the mountain village of Oriel Castle in the far northwest of the mainland. He would serve as head of Camp Daybreak, a joint NATO-AAF outpost established in the heart of the village. It was here where he would meet again with his old friend Nathan McDad. Their first reunion in almost 14 years. However, the two friends didn't have time to mingle. McDad was preoccupied with his duties as an aid worker, while Adams was responsible for maintaining the precarious supply situation and overseeing the local AAF garrison training. Adams is playable for one mission in the Remnants of War campaign, where you are tasked to receive and secure a resupply. Later we see Adams in the East Wind campaign, where you play as Corporal Ben Carey. On the last days on the island, the duo is tasked with helping Colonel McKinnon at Camino Firebase. Halfway the trip to Camino, they spot a blown up MRAP and a deceased Colonel McKinnon. Soon after, Camino Firebase is under fire with the report green on blue, AAF forces attacking NATO forces. Adams and Carey fight their way through the forest and get to safety. When entering a forest, Staff Sergeant Adams steps on a landmine and was instantly killed.
Make it there, sir? I don't think we have much of a choice, Gary. Fuck! Sergeant Adams! Jesus!
Sergeant Adams, we just heard.
Adams will be fondly remembered in passing by McDad, who sadly reflects on the loss of his old friend to AAN journalist Catherine Bishop. And finally, our main single-player character, Corporal Ben Carey. Initially from the US Army's 7th Infantry Division, Carey is one of the many non-combat troops from the multinational Task Force Aegis, left on Stratus following the pullout of NATO troops from the Republic of Altis and Stratis. The first time we see Carey is in the prologue. Then ranked as corporal, Carey served as the driver for Staff Sergeant Thomas Adams when the squad was ordered to return to the capital of Kavala, following an attempted uprising by guerrilla fighters in the city. 1 year later, Carey continues to remain on active duty on the island's country. By this time, the mandate for Task Force Aegis has been limited to the smaller island of Stratus only. No NATO peacekeepers were permitted to step foot on the mainland of Altis. With the 5-year-long peacekeeping mission approaching an end, With no hope of renewal for extension, Carey was looking forward to returning stateside. During his stay with the FIA guerrilla organization, Carey would find himself becoming a prominent figure amongst the rebel fighters, being personally assigned by the leader of the organization as the commander of a special unit of rebels under the call sign Omega. Carey appears as a 20-year-old Caucasian male with a shaved head and slightly dark brown hair. His standard attire consists of a Granger green plate carrier with his name tag on the front and an enhanced combat helmet. Given the semi-arid environment of Altis, he prefers wearing a white-green colored undershirt and MTP camouflage pants as opposed to the full fatigues. Personality-wise, Carey is a bit of a wild card. While he's capable of following orders to the letter, he prefers not to be in the dark about anything.
Alright, we'll see. Falcon 2 out. Okay, slight change of plan. We're needed elsewhere. Carey, Miller wants you to link up with a pocket of guerrillas and await new orders.
But, with respect, what about the convoy? Are we still on for that?
You ask a lot of questions, Corporal.
He also has a mild authority problem, refusing to show respect to anyone who keeps him intentionally in the dark. This is not to say that he doesn't respect anyone above him, as he shows genuine respect for Stravo as well as with Adams. Carey tends to talk to himself out loud, which often confuses those alongside him, especially his Altian guerrilla allies in the FIA. Throughout the whole campaign, Carey repeatedly states that he hates going into forest. This mostly attributes to Adams' death from stepping on a landmine in a forest, though prior to this accident, Carey already expresses his dislikes after Adams decides to take refuge in one.
Rogate's down, Camino's fucked. It's only bad news back where we came from. We've got to head south. There's a forest just over the hill.
The forest? Are you serious?
If you got any better ideas, feel free to share. Let's go.
We're going in there?
Yep.
Into the forest?
You got a problem with forest, Carey?
I just haven't had that much luck with them today.
Carey is notorious for using the phrase "what the fuck" in various forms throughout the entirety of the East Wind, uttering it or a derivative of the phrase at least once per mission.
What the fuck?
In the alternate ending of the East Wind, Carey can either die at the hands of CSAT, AAF remnants, or even commit suicide. But what's the fun in that? This is completely non-canonical. However, as Carey canonically survives throughout the entire duration of the campaign and does not side with Miller in Paradise Found. I hope you learned a lot about the characters that we see in the first part of the campaign. I wanted to stay at the NATO side for now, but if you want to see more character videos, please let me know. I hope you liked this video, and I see you in the next one.